It started with a single post. One small, sharp message that tore through the calm surface of conservative media like a blade through silk. Candace Owens, outspoken, fearless, and never one to hold her tongue, had just dropped what fans are now calling the receipts heard around the world. Her target, none other than Erika Kirk, wife of Turning Point USA's founder, Charlie Kirk, and the woman who many believed was the graceful, untouchable face of conservative faith and family. Within minutes, screenshots began circulating, hashtags trended, and every corner of social media lit up with speculation. What began as a quiet rumor about internal drama within TPUSA exploded into a full-blown scandal when Candace went live, claiming that she was done protecting hypocrites hiding behind God. Her tone was icy, deliberate, and the name Erika Kirk slipped from her mouth like a final verdict. Fans were stunned. Supporters of both women were torn apart, unsure who to believe. Behind the polished photos and inspirational podcasts, cracks began to show. Candace hinted at financial irregularities, fake sisterhood, and something she called a betrayal that started in the prayer room. Viewers couldn't look away. Erika, known for her calm and polished demeanor, stayed silent at first, but that silence only fueled the storm. Screenshots of alleged text exchanges, voice memos, and emails began leaking one by one. It wasn't long before the receipts showed what looked like months of behind-the-scenes tension between Candace and Erika. All while cameras rolled at Turning Point events, where they smiled side by side. The betrayal ran deeper than anyone imagined. Sources close to both women whispered about an influence war inside TPUSA's struggle for control, attention, and moral authority. Erika was said to be playing the long game, building her brand around faith and family values, while Candace, the queen of controversy, began to feel pushed out. When money, sponsorships, and influence mixed with ego, things reportedly spiraled fast. Candace's patience snapped when she discovered something she called a spiritual con, a phrase she used to describe what Erika had allegedly done behind closed doors. As the screenshots surfaced, fans noticed one disturbing detail: a mysterious message sent from Erika's account to a major donor, asking for private backing for a secret women's leadership project that had never been approved by TPUSA's board. Candace claimed that was just the beginning, and she had more proof than anyone was ready for. By the next morning, Erika's team tried to clean up the mess with a carefully worded statement, but the damage was done. Candace had cracked the facade. The world that once admired Erika's image of grace and purity was now questioning every sermon, every quote, every tear she'd ever shared online. As the internet erupted, one question echoed across every platform: what really happened between Candace Owens and Erika Kirk? What dark secret was hiding behind the Turning Point USA empire? Candace Owens had been quiet for weeks, which was unusual for someone who built her name on confrontation. Fans noticed the silence, and rumors began to stir that something was off inside the Turning Point USA circle. Then, out of nowhere, she posted a cryptic story, white background, black letters, no context. It read, "Not everyone who prays with you, prays for you." People instantly knew she was taking aim at someone, but nobody expected the storm that followed. Behind the scenes, insiders claimed the tension between Candace and Erika Kirk had been brewing for months. What started as small disagreements about event messaging and guest lists had turned into full-blown personal resentment. Erika, who prided herself on being diplomatic, allegedly told staff that Candace was becoming a distraction for the organization. Meanwhile, Candace felt she was being cornered, excluded from meetings she once led, and slowly replaced as the face of TPUSA's female outreach. Sources said she began keeping receipts, emails, voice notes, even private texts, anticipating that things would one day boil over. The breaking point came after a closed-door meeting in Phoenix. Several witnesses recalled that Candace and Erika exchanged sharp words over how TPUSA should handle a controversial donor. One person in the room described the tension as unbearable. Candace allegedly accused Erika of using faith as a filter for manipulation, while Erika shot back that Candace only believes in God when the cameras are on. Those words cut deep. By the time the meeting ended, both women had unfollowed each other on Instagram. And within 24 hours, Candace had unfriended several of Erika's close associates. Fans started piecing things together. Candace skipped a major TPUSA gala for the first time in years. Erika hosted it instead, glowing in a silver gown beside her husband, Charlie Kirk. Her smile was flawless, but her eyes, some fans noted, looked strained. Rumors circulated that Charlie himself had asked Candace to take a temporary step back from TPUSA's women's initiatives, citing internal restructuring. In Candace's view, it was exile disguised as diplomacy. The situation escalated when Candace began dropping hints during her live podcasts, She spoke about wolves in sheep's clothing and Christian influencers who build kingdoms, not ministries. Her tone was sharp, her delivery measured. Listeners caught on quickly, and social media filled with speculation that she was talking about Erika Kirk. Erika's camp denied everything, releasing a calm statement saying, "We choose peace over gossip." But that only made things worse. To Candace's supporters, the statement sounded smug, dismissive, and insincere. A week later, Candace dropped what she called the first batch of truth. She posted a series of screenshots on her Telegram channel messages, allegedly from Erika to a TPUSA donor, discussing a side initiative that diverted funds from approved programs. One of the messages mentioned a vision separate from the main brand, and another referenced Candace's growing unpredictability. It was enough to set the internet ablaze. Fans flooded Erika's Instagram comments with demands for answers. Erika turned off comments within hours, but by then the screenshots had already spread across Reddit, Twitter, and conservative blogs. One of the most shocking screenshots showed Erika allegedly writing, "We need to protect our circle. Candace is too loud, and her version of truth damages the mission." Candace responded in her live video later that night, saying, "The mission is not yours to guard, it belongs to God." Her voice cracked mid-sentence, but her expression stayed fierce. "I will not stay silent while people pretend righteousness and practice deceit behind closed doors," she said. Fans were divided. Half stood behind Candace, praising her courage for exposing hypocrisy, while others accused her of creating drama to stay relevant. TPUSA staff were caught in the middle, trying to maintain professionalism while watching their two most influential figures tear each other apart. Behind the scenes, Charlie Kirk was said to be furious, demanding that the matter be handled privately, but Candace refused to back down. The next twist came when an anonymous email was leaked to the press. It claimed that Erika had been using TPUSA resources to fund her own brand's podcast production and travel expenses, though the authenticity of the email couldn't be confirmed. Fans believed it because the details matched the timeline Candace had already exposed. The email referred to private meetings in Nashville and a confidential sponsorship deal, both of which Erika had publicly denied in the past. Candace took to social media again, this time sharing a voice note. In it, a woman's voice allegedly Erika was heard saying, "We just need Candace off the platform before the next quarter. It'll be messy, but necessary." The clip went viral within minutes. Even those who once dismissed the feud began to reconsider. Erika's team issued a statement claiming the audio was doctored, but the damage was already done. Across social media, fans described the fallout as a civil war in conservative media. Longtime supporters of TPUSA expressed disappointment, while critics enjoyed watching the implosion. One fan commented, "They preach unity, but behind the scenes, it's betrayal and greed." Another wrote, "If this is what faith-based leadership looks like, God-based leadership looks like. God, help us." The backlash was intense enough that TPUSA's official page temporarily disabled its comments section. In the days that followed, Candace doubled down. She went live again, saying she had kept quiet for too long out of respect. But the truth was heavier than silence. She hinted that more evidence was coming, something she described as the document that ties everything together. Erika, on the other hand, posted a soft-lit photo of herself praying, captioned, "God fights my battles." It was subtle, but everyone knew it was directed at Candace. By then, fans were fully invested in the drama. Podcasts dissected every sentence. YouTube commentators replayed the voice note frame by frame. And Twitter was flooded with hashtags like #CandaceVS Erika and #TPUSA scandal. Even mainstream outlets began covering the story, calling it a public unraveling of conservative sisterhood. Through it all, Erika remained poised in public appearances, but sources claimed she was privately shaken. One insider said she had broken down in tears during a team meeting, saying, "I never thought it would come to this." Candace, meanwhile, refused to soften her stance. She began describing the entire ordeal as spiritual warfare, saying that when truth walks into the room, deception trembles. Her audience cheered, calling her brave, but behind the scenes, some of her old colleagues distanced themselves, fearing they might be next to be exposed. One former TPUSA executive told reporters, "Candace has nothing left to lose and that makes her dangerous." The tension between both women reached its peak when Erika was scheduled to appear on a Sunday talk show. She was expected to address the controversy directly for the first time. But moments before airtime, the show pulled the segment without explanation. Fans speculated that TPUSA pressured the network to cancel it, fearing that more internal information might slip out. Candace responded with a single tweet, Truth doesn't need airtime, it just needs witnesses. As days passed, screenshots continued leaking. One of them allegedly showed a message from Charlie Kirk to a board member saying, "We have to control this before donors walk away." It confirmed that TPUSA's financial backers were worried. Several major sponsors paused their partnerships, and event attendance began to drop. Erika's once polished image of calm leadership now seemed fragile. Through all of it, Candace kept posting Bible verses, followed by fiery monologues about honesty and loyalty. She told her followers, "When you build your kingdom on lies, even your prayers echo empty." The comment sections exploded with arguments, some fans defending Erika's grace, others applauding Candace's fearlessness. Every clip, every reaction, every new leak pushed the story further into chaos. By the end of that week, neither woman could escape the fallout. Candace's live videos were being clipped and re-uploaded across the internet, drawing millions of views. Erika's podcast downloads dropped sharply, and fans began to question her authenticity. What had started as a whispered feud between two women of influence had grown into one of the most public and emotional breakdowns in conservative media history, and both knew it was far from over. The silence that followed the first explosion of receipts was heavy and calculated. Erika Kirk vanished from social media for 3 days, long enough for her absence to spark even more theories. Fans wondered if she was preparing a lawsuit, a statement, or a confession. Others believed she was in crisis meetings with Charlie and the TPUSA legal team, trying to contain the flames before they consumed everything. But when Erika finally reappeared, she didn't post words, she posted a video. The clip opened with soft piano music and sunlight pouring through her living room window. Erika sat cross-legged on the floor, no makeup, wearing a plain white sweatshirt. "I've been quiet," she began, her voice trembling slightly, "because sometimes God asks you to be still when the world is screaming." Her tone was calm, almost saintly, but those who knew her noticed the slight quiver in her jaw. She denied the financial allegations, saying, "Integrity means more to me than influence," and hinted that the screenshots were out of context and manipulated. Within minutes, Candace went live. She didn't even wait for Erika's video to finish spreading, out of context. She said, shaking her head with disbelief, "If that's her idea of context, then she needs to start with a dictionary." She then shared a longer version of the text thread, showing that Erika had allegedly contacted multiple donors behind TPUSA's back. Fans flooded both women's live chats, watching the scandal unfold in real time. It became digital warfare, faith quotes versus evidence drops. People close to Candace revealed that her patience had run out long before she ever posted anything. She tried to talk to Erika privately, one friend said, but Erika would always redirect or deflect. She wanted control. Candace's team had reportedly advised her to release everything at once, but she insisted on pacing it out, saying she wanted to give Erika a chance to come clean. When Erika didn't, Candace decided to go public. Meanwhile, within TPUSA headquarters, panic was spreading. Staff members were instructed not to discuss the scandal with anyone outside the organization. One anonymous employee told a blogger, "You could feel the tension in the building. People were whispering in hallways. No one knew who to trust." It was said that Charlie Kirk called an emergency meeting, urging everyone to stay focused on the mission, but his wife's name was the only topic anyone wanted to discuss. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. An unknown Twitter account began releasing private voice memos from an internal TPUSA chat. One message appeared to show Erika talking about Candace, saying, "She's uncontrollable," and Charlie agrees, "She's going to ruin everything we built if we don't cut her loose." The account was deleted hours later, but the audio spread faster than any official statement ever could. Fans were stunned. Even some of Erika's most loyal followers began to question her innocence. Candace seized the moment. During a fiery live broadcast, she said, "They called me uncontrollable because I refused to be manipulated. They said I'd ruin their brand, but maybe their brand was already rotten." Her audience erupted with support, flooding the comments with fire emojis and Bible verses. Within an hour, her stream had over 1 million views. Erika, on the other hand, was crumbling behind the scenes. According to an insider, she broke down crying in her office, saying, "They're turning me into the villain." Charlie reportedly tried to comfort her, but even he looked shaken. Their partnership, once seen as the power couple of conservative Christian politics, was now showing visible cracks. One source close to the family claimed that Charlie begged Erika to step away from social media altogether until things cooled down. But she refused, saying, "Silence is guilt." The next morning, Erika uploaded another post, this time a carousel of family photos and a caption that read, "Truth doesn't need proof when God is your witness." It was meant to be poetic, but it backfired. Fans interpreted it as deflection. Under the post, comments poured in. "This isn't a sermon. It's a scandal. Stop hiding behind scripture. And if you're innocent, show the receipts." Within 2 hours, she turned off comments again. That same night, Candace shared a message from what she called a heartbroken insider. The message described a private TPUSA dinner where Erika allegedly confronted Candace in front of several executives. The source claimed Erika accused her of sabotaging sponsorships, to which Candace fired back, "The only thing I've sabotaged is your illusion of virtue." The room reportedly went silent, and one witness said Charlie looked as pale as the tablecloth. Social media was now spinning theories faster than either woman could respond. Podcasts uploaded emergency episodes titled Candace vs. Erika, What Really Went Down, and TPUSA Meltdown, the conservative sisterhood at war. Even those outside the political sphere began weighing in. One celebrity influencer tweeted, "You can't preach unity and profit off division. Something about this whole thing feels off." The real shock came when screenshots emerged showing that a major TPUSA sponsor had quietly pulled out of an upcoming event. Though neither Candace nor Erika mentioned it directly, their followers connected the dots. If sponsors were leaving, the stakes were higher than anyone had realized. People began wondering whether TPUSA itself could survive the fallout. Candace's supporters started calling her the truth teller of the movement, while Erika's fans painted her as a woman under attack. The internet turned their feud into a cultural battlefield. One side quoted Candace's fiery words. The other shared Erika's emotional prayer clips. Even pastors began taking sides, publicly posting statements about discernment and the danger of gossip. In private, both women reportedly received calls from major conservative figures urging them to end the feud before it destroys everything. But neither was willing to surrender. Erika felt her character was under attack, while Candace believed she was fighting for principle. The situation had grown too personal, too public, and too emotional to contain. A few days later, another twist deepened the chaos. A former TPUSA intern came forward in an anonymous blog post claiming she had witnessed uncomfortable power plays between the two women. She wrote that Erika often used her proximity to Charlie to make decisions outside her authority, and that Candace had once been openly mocked during a meeting for bringing her emotions into leadership. Though the post couldn't be verified, it gained massive traction, further damaging Erika's image. As the scandal intensified, Candace dropped another bombshell. She hinted that there were emails involving more than one high-profile figure, and that TPUSA's clean image was built on hidden compromises. Though she didn't name names, fans speculated wildly, dragging several other influencers into the mess. TPUSA's public relations team scrambled to release a statement calling the claims baseless. But by then, the internet had already made up its mind. Candace's tone hardened over time. Her once controlled outrage turned into something raw, almost personal. "They think they can silence me with lawyers," she said in one stream. Well, truth doesn't fear subpoenas. She claimed she had been warned to stop talking, but that she would never bow to intimidation. Fans applauded her bravery, while Erika's side accused her of seeking attention. The tension reached its breaking point when Erika allegedly confronted Candace over text, begging her to stop before families get hurt. Candace's reply was short and brutal. "Families are already hurt, yours included." The message leaked hours later, though no one knows who shared it. That single text set off another wave of outrage, with fans accusing Candace of crossing the line. In the following days, both women disappeared from public view again. Social media analysts noticed that TPUSA's engagement dropped by nearly 40%. The organization that once thrived on unity and energy was now drowning in whispers and suspicion. Behind the curtain, staff members described the mood as toxic, saying they felt like they were walking on glass. But the silence didn't last long. Candace returned one night with a chilling statement. "I thought I knew who my sisters in faith were. I was wrong. And the proof is in my inbox." Her eyes glistened as she held up a printed email that she claimed tied everything back to one orchestrated deception. She didn't reveal the full contents, at least not yet, but she promised she would soon. Fans could feel it. Something bigger was coming. And the next revelation might not just end a friendship, it could dismantle an empire. The internet had gone into overdrive. Every influencer gossip page, every conservative podcast, every small Twitter account was now dissecting the feud between Candace Owens and Erika Kirk as if it were a political crime scene. Theories multiplied. Timelines were drawn. Fans compared screenshots like detectives, convinced that somewhere in the chaos lay a single truth that could explain it all. But no one expected what Candace did next. She didn't post a statement or a story. She uploaded a full hour-long video titled "The Receipts They Don't Want You to See." The thumbnail showed her sitting in front of a laptop, face lit by the screen, eyes steady and cold. Within seconds of its upload, thousands tuned in. She opened by saying, "For months, I've been silent. For months, I've been told to forgive, to forget, to protect reputations that don't deserve protection. But enough is enough. This isn't just about me anymore. This is about integrity." As she spoke, she shared what appeared to be internal TPUSA emails. One message, allegedly sent from Erika's assistant, discussed redirecting donor funds to what she called a more spiritually aligned initiative under Erika's leadership. Candace read each line aloud, her voice steady but filled with restrained anger. "You can't hide behind faith while you manipulate money," she said. "You can't preach humility while collecting private checks." Fans were speechless, the chat section filled with comments like, "Wow, this is insane, and how deep does this go?" Halfway through the stream, Candace dropped what she called the bombshell document. It was a PDF file she claimed had been leaked from within TPUSA's executive office. The document outlined proposed sponsorship deals under Erika's name, deals that allegedly bypassed official approval. Though she blurred certain details, it was enough to suggest a serious breach of trust. Within minutes, Erika's name was trending again. Her silence only made things worse. People demanded an explanation, and news outlets began picking up the story. Several reporters claimed they had reached out to TPUSA's communications team for comment, but received no response. A few hours later, Erika finally posted an Instagram story, a simple black screen with white letters reading, "This isn't truth, it's revenge." That post sent Candace into another firestorm. During a live Q&A later that night, she addressed Erika's message directly. "Revenge," she said. "If telling the truth is revenge, then maybe you should ask yourself what you did to deserve it." Her tone cut like glass. "Don't confuse exposure with attack," she added. "What's done in the dark eventually meets the light." Behind the scenes, the fallout was even more explosive. Insiders claimed that several high-ranking TPUSA donors were demanding an independent audit. Erika Kirk was reportedly furious not just at Candace for going public, but at Erika for putting their entire organization under scrutiny. One staff member described the tension between the Kirks as unbearable, saying they hadn't been seen together in days. Another claimed Charlie told Erika, "This could destroy everything we've built." Candace's supporters were relentless. They flooded Erika's posts with comments demanding transparency. "Show your receipts," one wrote. "God doesn't need spin doctors," said another. Erika's podcast ratings began to slip, while Candace's channel gained nearly 500,000 new followers in under a week. She had transformed from controversial pundit to whistleblower overnight, and her audience couldn't get enough. But as always, there was another twist coming, one that no one could have scripted. A former TPUSA contractor released a series of encrypted files to an independent journalist, claiming that they contained proof that both women were playing a dangerous game. According to the report, the feud had started long before the public narrowed it in competition for influence, sponsorships, and proximity to political power. One leaked message, allegedly between Candace and a mutual acquaintance, hinted that she too had been negotiating her own separate deal outside the organization's structure. The revelation hit like an earthquake. Suddenly, fans began questioning whether Candace was as innocent as she claimed. Twitter exploded with arguments. Some defended her, saying, "She exposed the truth and that's all that matters," while others accused her of hypocrisy. The comment sections turned toxic, each post igniting new waves of speculation. When Candace was asked about the leaked messages, she didn't deny them, but she framed them differently. "I was approached privately," she said. "I didn't go behind anyone's back. I said no to corruption. That's the difference." Her tone was controlled, but for the first time, her confidence wavered. People noticed. Her voice cracked slightly as she said, "They can twist my words all they want. My conscience is clean." Meanwhile, Erika reappeared on her podcast for the first time since the scandal began. She started the episode with a long pause, then said softly, "Betrayal doesn't always come from enemies." She didn't mention Candace by name, but she didn't need to. She accused unnamed individuals of weaponizing half-truths for personal gain. and tearing apart ministries to build audiences. Her delivery was calm, but the undertone was unmistakably angry. She ended with, "To everyone who believes gossip over grace, I forgive you, but I won't forget." Candace's reaction came swiftly. She went live minutes after the podcast dropped, visibly shaking her head. "Forgive me," she said. "That's not forgiveness. That's performance." She accused Erika of crying on camera for sympathy and said, "She's not praying, she's rehearsing." Fans gasped as Candace replayed one of Erika's old sermons and paused mid-sentence, saying, "Listen to how fake that sounds now." As the feud reached fever pitch, TPUSA's public image began to collapse. Donors withdrew support, events were postponed, and sponsors quietly disappeared. Conservative media outlets began avoiding both women altogether, labeling the situation too volatile. Some insiders said Charlie Kirk was barely holding the ship together, while others claimed he had privately confronted both women in separate meetings. One alleged confrontation between Charlie and Candace became legendary among staffers. A witness claimed, Charlie shouted, "You're tearing this apart." To which Candace allegedly replied, "No, Charlie, you let your wife do that when you chose silence over truth." The fight wasn't just online anymore, it had spilled into real boardrooms. Contracts were being reviewed, staff were being reassigned, and lawyers were circling. Yet, even in the middle of that chaos, fans were hooked. The story had transcended politics. It was personal, raw, and painfully human. Two women who once prayed together were now at war in front of millions. Then came the late-night leak that shifted everything again. An anonymous email to several reporters claimed that a private recording existed of Erika admitting that she regretted how she treated Candace, calling it a pride issue. No one knew if it was real, but the claim reignited sympathy for Erika. Fans began asking if Candace had gone too far, if maybe her truth crusade had turned into obsession. Candace responded in a short clip that night. Sitting in her car, she said quietly, "Regret means nothing without repentance." She stared straight into the camera for several seconds before ending the video abruptly. Her eyes were red, her voice calm but hollow. Viewers could feel it, the toll was showing. By that point, the feud wasn't just destroying reputations, it was breaking spirits. Followers who once found hope in their messages of faith now felt disillusioned. One fan tweeted, "I used to look up to both of them. Now I don't know who's real anymore." Another wrote, "This feels less like a scandal and more like a spiritual collapse." And yet, neither woman backed down. Erika began hosting closed Bible sessions with select followers, claiming she was focusing on healing. Candace, meanwhile, promised a final revelation that would end all lies once and for all. She called it the last receipt. Her followers waited anxiously. Everyone knew that when Candace said last, it never really meant the end, but this time, something about her tone made people believe her. The countdown began, and the world waited for her next move. The air inside the courtroom felt dense, heavy with judgment, as if every breath carried the echo of past mistakes and whispered betrayals. Diddy sat motionless, his eyes fixed on the judge. But his thoughts were far away, wandering through years of power and privilege, now slipping through his fingers like dust. Cameras outside flashed relentlessly, painting him as a fallen titan, a cautionary tale of excess and ego. Yet behind that cold stare, there was a flicker of something, fear, perhaps, or the faint realization that this time, there would be no one left to protect him. Prosecutors laid out their evidence methodically, each document and video a nail in the coffin of his reputation. The audience murmured with every revelation, names of former allies surfacing like ghosts. Those who once worshipped him now avoided his shadow. It was as if the entire industry had conspired to erase his legacy. In the back, a few loyal faces watched in silence. But even their loyalty looked uncertain now, trembling under the weight of the truth. The words "maximum sentence" echoed through the hall. And in that instant, the entire world outside seemed to hold its breath. As the verdict was read, he felt the ground shift beneath him, the finality of it settling into his bones. He didn't cry, didn't protest, he just sat there, his expression unreadable, as if trying to understand how the empire he built from the streets of Harlem had come to this quiet, humiliating end. When the guards moved to take him away, he looked at the rows of reporters, their lenses aimed like weapons, and for a brief second, he almost smirked. Not out of defiance, but resignation. Outside, the streets buzzed with noise, protesters, fans, journalists all feeding off the chaos that his downfall had created. Social media lit up like wildfire, every platform flooded with theories, conspiracies, and leaked footage. In the chaos, his name was no longer just a brand. It had become a warning. Inside the transport van, Chains rattled softly against metal as he stared out the narrow window. Memories came in flashes: his first platinum record, the nights of endless champagne, the faces of people he had betrayed or forgotten. He realized he had been chasing power so long, he had forgotten what peace felt like. Even in that moment, a part of him still wanted to control the story, to twist it back into his favor. But control was gone now, replaced by silence and confinement. The van drove through darkened streets toward the federal facility, and the sound of the city faded behind him. For the first time in decades, he wasn't surrounded by assistants or cameras. There was no one to call, no studio to escape to, no music to drown the noise, only the cold hum of the road and the weight of his choices pressing against him. When the gates of Fort Dix closed behind him, it was as if an entire era had ended. The guards treated him like any other inmate. No recognition, no special treatment. He was stripped of his jewelry, his designer clothes, his identity. Just a number now. He was assigned a cell, small, gray, impersonal. The walls were marked with graffiti from those who had come before, names and dates that told silent stories of lost time. When the door locked, he sat on the lower bunk, staring at the chipped paint, and let out a long, slow breath. For the first time, he felt the full weight of solitude. Nights were the hardest. The quiet was deafening, interrupted only by distant shouts and metal doors clanging shut. Sometimes, he would lie awake and listen to the whispers of other inmates, stories of regret, revenge, and survival. He began to see the world differently. The same man who once ruled boardrooms now stood in line for meals, washed his own clothes, and lived by a schedule dictated by others. Some inmates respected him, others resented him. The once untouchable mogul now had to earn every ounce of dignity. In a strange way, it was humbling. He saw faces that reminded him of the young version of himself, the kid from the block who dreamed of changing the world. He wondered if that boy would recognize the man he had become. Letters from fans stopped coming. Business partners distanced themselves. Even family visits grew rare. His empire outside continued to crumble under lawsuits, audits, and betrayals. Yet deep inside, there was a quiet transformation happening. For the first time, he began to reflect on the years he had spent chasing validation. He thought about the artists he had controlled, the relationships he had broken for ambition, the people he had used as stepping stones. He had built everything on power, but now that power meant nothing. In prison, everyone was equal in suffering. He realized that fame had blinded him, turned him into a myth he could no longer live up to. And as much as the world judged him, the harshest judgment came from within. He saw his reflection in the cracked mirror of his cell odor, thinner, stripped of pretense. Maybe this was the first time he had truly met himself, and though it was painful, there was a strange clarity in that honesty. Each day bled into the next. He followed routine like clockwork, but inside, his mind wandered. Endlessly. He thought about legacy, about how easily it could all disappear. And yet, amid the monotony, something human returned to him: a quiet patience, a strange peace born of acceptance. No entourage, no cameras, no noise, only silence, discipline, and time. And in that silence, he began to understand what power had taken from him: peace, humility, and truth. The walls of Fort Dix held many stories, but his was one of the loudest, a reminder that no empire, no matter how golden, could outrun justice. As he lay in his bunk, staring at the ceiling, he whispered a quiet prayer, not for freedom, but for forgiveness, because deep down, he knew that redemption, if it ever came, would not come from fame, but from facing everything he had tried to bury. The story of Diddy's downfall is not just about fame collapsing under its own weight. It's a mirror of everything the entertainment world hides behind its glitter. One moment he was a symbol of success and power, the next he was a headline of scandal and disgrace. It shows how fragile power really is, how quickly the people who cheer for you can turn away the moment your mask slips. The truth is, nobody is untouchable. Not the biggest stars, not the richest moguls, not the ones who believe their money can silence the world. This story should make you question what success really means when it comes at the cost of integrity, peace, and soul. Because behind every private jet, behind every diamond chain, there is always a secret someone is desperate to keep buried. If you followed this far, you already know this is bigger than gossip. This is a warning about how fast fame turns to isolation. What once looked like victory now looks like punishment, and what once felt like control now feels like a cage. We've seen the same pattern over and over again: power rising from the streets, conquering everything in sight, then devouring itself. But what's different this time is how much the world is watching. The internet doesn't forget. Every message, every video, every leaked image becomes permanent. And in this new world, reputation is currency. And once it's gone, there's no buying it back. So before the world moves to the next story, take a moment to think about how we got here. Think about the people who stayed silent, the ones who protected him. The ones who benefited from his empire while pretending they didn't see the cracks forming. This isn't just about one man's fall, it's about an entire culture that rewards arrogance until it destroys itself. But maybe, just maybe, this could be the turning point. Maybe the fall of a giant forces everyone else to think twice about the world they've built on image instead of truth. If you've been following our channel, you know we don't just chase stories. We break them open. We show you what others won't show. We dig into the parts the mainstream tries to blur. And what you've just heard is only a fraction of what's coming. The truth is still unraveling, and every day brings a new piece of the puzzle. So if you want to stay ahead, you want to know what's really happening behind those polished smiles and red carpets, make sure you're here with us. Subscribe right now. Hit that bell so you never miss an update, because when the next chapter drops, you'll want to be the first to hear it. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Diddy deserves a second chance? Do you believe he can rebuild after everything? Or has the world already moved on? Your opinion matters here, because these stories aren't just about them, they're about us. About how we see power, fame, and forgiveness. If you're watching from the start till now, you already know this story isn't over. There are names still hidden, deals still being exposed, and voices ready to speak up for the first time. Share this video with someone who still believes everything they see online. Remind them that behind the spotlight, there's always a shadow. This isn't the end, it's the beginning of a new chapter in a bigger investigation. We've got more footage, more testimonies, and more shocking turns that will make everything you just heard look like the calm before the storm. Stay tuned, because our next upload is going to shake the industry again. The truth is crawling out of every corner, and we're here to uncover it piece by piece. Subscribe, comment, and keep your notifications on. This is Glam Real, where the truth behind celebrity power finally comes to light.